They say money doesn't change who you are. They're wrong. Money doesn't change you. It reveals you. And for Jasmine Carter, 27 years old, living in a cramped LA apartment with a husband who treated her like furniture, money was about to reveal everything. But first, let me tell you about the man who would change her world. Minho, 38 years old, 6 feet 3 inches of calculated power, wrapped in custom Italian suits and silence sharp enough to cut throats. They called him the Phantom King. Wayne. He controlled Seoul's underground like a conductor controls an orchestra, with precision, with ruthlessness, with the kind of authority that made politicians sweat and criminals pray. His legitimate empire, Kang Luxury Group, $80 billion, real estate across Asia, tech investments. 5-star hotels, diamond imports, his illegitimate empire. Let's just say if you wanted something expensive, illegal, or impossible in Korea, you paid Minho's price. Or you disappeared. He'd inherited this world at 22 when his father was assassinated. 16 years later, he'd tripled the fortune, eliminated every rival, and built a reputation so fearsome that his name alone was a weapon. He was ice. He was steel. He was untouchable. And he had one weakness he didn't know about yet. Her, Jasmine Carter. She lived in a world 5,000 miles away from Minho's Seoul Towers, a modest apartment in LA. Freelance graphic designer, talented but invisible, married to David Carter, investment banker, emotional abuser, the kind of man who measured his worth by how small he could make everyone else feel. Jasmine had spent 6 years shrinking, 6 years hearing, "You're not good enough, you're not smart enough, you're lucky I married you." 6 years believing it. But here's what David didn't know, what even Jasmine barely knew. 3 weeks ago, a lawyer knocked on her door with a letter. "Miss Ashford, I'm here about your father's estate." "My father's dead? I'm very sorry for your loss. Thomas Ashford passed away 6 months ago. You're listed as his sole heir." Jasmine had laughed. "Bitter, broken. My father abandoned me when I was 3. But if he left me anything, it's probably debt." The lawyer handed her documents. "Miss Ashford, your father spent 20 years searching for you. He built a technology empire worth $35 billion, and he left every penny to you." The room had spun. David, overhearing from the kitchen, had mocked her. "Your deadbeat dad was a billionaire? Sure. And I'm the King of England. Don't embarrass yourself." But the lawyer was serious. "You need to come to Seoul. Your father had significant business interests in Korea. The estate is complex. You'll need to sign documents, meet with trustees." Seoul, Jasmine had gone, her first act of defiance in 6 years. And on a Friday night, at a charity gala hosted by the Kang Foundation, her two worlds collided. David showed up, unannounced, drunk with his mistress on his arm. He saw Jasmine across the ballroom, and he decided to destroy her. In front of 200 of Seoul's elite, he called her a charity case, mocked her dead father, grabbed her wrist hard enough to bruise. He had no idea 3 things. 1. Jasmine had just inherited $20.03 billion. 2. The charity gala was Minho's family foundation. 3. Minho had been watching her all night, and when David raised his voice to Jasmine, when he grabbed her, Minho moved. What happened in the next 72 hours didn't just destroy David's life. It built a dynasty. This isn't a Cinderella story, it's a coronation, and it starts with a lawyer's letter, mocked wife, and the most dangerous man in Seoul asking quietly, "Are you all right, Miss Carter?" 3 weeks earlier, Los Angeles. Jasmine's apartment was small, 1 bedroom, a kitchen barely big enough for 2 people, but it was hers, or at least it was supposed to be. David controlled the lease, the bank accounts, the bills, everything. She worked from a corner desk crammed with design software, half-finished projects, and dreams she'd stopped voicing out loud because every time she did, David found a way to kill them. "That logo looks amateur. No one's going to pay you for that. Maybe if you were actually talented, you wouldn't need my support." She'd learned to work in silence, to make herself small. The apartment was warm, beige walls, secondhand furniture she'd tried to make beautiful with throw pillows and plants. Evidence of someone trying desperately to build a home in a space that felt like a cage. Meanwhile, 5,000 miles away, Kang Minho lived in a different universe. Seoul, Gangnam District. The Kang Tower, 80 floors of black glass and steel rising above the city like a declaration of dominance. The top 20 floors belong to Minho. Penthouse office, private residence, security command center. The building was a fortress. Biometric scanners, armed guards in designer suits, surveillance on every floor, elevators that required fingerprint and retinal scans to access executive levels. Minho's office was minimalist, black marble floors, floor-to-ceiling windows overlooking Seoul, a desk that cost more than most people's cars, no photos, no personal items, just power condensed into glass and steel. He ran his empire from this room, legitimate deals during the day, underground operations at night. His inner circle was small, trusted. Director Yoon, 45, strategic operations, ruthless efficiency. He'd been with Minho since the beginning, former intelligence operative, knew how to make problems disappear without a trace. Captain SEO 40, head of security, ex-military intelligence, built like a tank, spoke 4 languages, could kill you with a pen or a smile, depending on what the situation required. And then there was Grandmother Kang, Sukya, 78 years old, matriarch of the Kang family. She lived in the family estate, traditional Korean architecture, sprawling gardens, walls that had stood for 3 generations. She was the only person Minho feared, not because she was violent, because she was disappointed. Minho, you're 38. You need a wife. You need heirs. The family line cannot end with you. Grandmother, I'm busy building. You're busy destroying yourself. Marry, have children. Give me great-grandchildren before I die. She'd paraded dozens of suitable matches past him. Daughters of Keeball families, heiresses, politicians' daughters. He'd rejected them all. Marriage is a merger, grandmother. I don't merge with weakness, then find strength. He hadn't found it yet, or so he thought. Back in LA, Jasmine's life was unraveling in slow motion. David's emotional abuse had escalated. He stayed out late. Came home smelling like perfume that wasn't hers. When she asked where he'd been, he'd snap, I was working, providing for us. Something you clearly can't do. She'd stopped asking. Then the lawyer came, Thomas Ashford. The name meant nothing to her. Her mother had called him the man who left. Said he was a coward, a deadbeat. But the documents told a different story. Thomas Ashford, born in Atlanta, moved to Silicon Valley in the 90s, founded Ashford Technologies, specialized in communication software, built it into a giant, sold it for billions. Then invested in real estate, patents, venture capital. Never told Jasmine her father was looking. She died when Jasmine was 19, taking that secret to her grave. Thomas Ashford died 6 months ago. Heart failure. Alone in his Seoul penthouse, his will was specific. Everything to my daughter, Jasmine Ashford Carter. If she refuses contact, the inheritance goes to a foundation. But if she shows genuine intent to honor the Ashford legacy, she inherits it all. The trustee, a Seoul law firm, had been watching, waiting. When Jasmine agreed to come to Seoul, they made their decision. She was worthy. The lawyer handed her a plane ticket. The Gala is Friday night, Kang Foundation charity event. Your father was a major donor. The trustee will be there. It's a test, Miss Carter. A test to see if you understand the world you're about to enter. David had laughed when she told him, you're flying to Seoul for a dead man's fantasy inheritance? You're delusional. She went anyway. Packed a single suitcase, bought a black dress from a thrift store, told David she'd be gone a week. He barely looked up from his phone. Don't embarrass me. She left. And when her plane landed in Seoul on a Tuesday afternoon, Jasmine Carter had no idea she was about to meet the man who would change everything. Friday night, Four Seasons Hotel Seoul, the Grand Ballroom. The Kang Foundation Charity Gala was the event of the season. 200 guests. Korea's elite politicians, CEOs, old money and new power, all dressed in designer everything, sipping champagne that cost more per bottle than Jasmine's monthly rent. She felt like an imposter. Her black dress was simple, elegant, because she knew how to design clothes even if she couldn't afford them. Her hair was natural, coils pulled back into a low bun, a few strands framing her face. No expensive jewelry, just small gold hoops her mother had left her. She looked beautiful. She felt invisible. The trustee's assistant had gotten her an invitation. Mingle, observe, show respect. The trustees are watching. So she stood near the edge of the ballroom, nursing a glass of wine, watching Seoul's elite move through the space like sharks in silk. And across the room, Kang Minho noticed her. He'd been in a conversation with a Japanese investor, boring, transactional, the kind of small talk he endured because it kept his empire running. Then he saw her, a woman standing alone. Black dress, natural hair. She looked out of place, not in a bad way, in a way that made him curious. She wasn't trying to be seen, she was trying to disappear. And something about that, about her quiet grace, the way she held herself like she was bracing for impact, caught his attention. He excused himself from the conversation, started to cross the room toward her. And then the doors burst open. David Carter walked in, drunk, arrogant, loud. On his arm, Amanda Chen, 26, daughter of a Chinese-American real estate mogul, dripping in diamonds, laughing like she owned the world. David spotted Jasmine immediately, his face twisted, rage and contempt. He walked straight toward her, Amanda giggling beside him. "What the hell are you doing here?" Jasmine turned. Her stomach dropped. "David, I didn't know you were... You didn't know? Or you snuck in hoping to embarrass me in front of important people? I was invited. The trustee... He laughed, loud enough that people turned. "You actually believe that deadbeat dad inheritance story, don't you? You're pathetic." Amanda leaned into David, stage whispering, "Oh my God, is this the wife you told me about?" Jasmine's face burned. "David, please. Not here. Not here." He grabbed her wrist. Hard. "You don't get to tell me what to do. You're nothing. A freelance designer who can't even pay her own rent." She tried to pull away. His grip tightened. "Let go." Or what? The ballroom had gone quiet. People watching, whispering. David, emboldened by alcohol and Amanda's laughter, raised his voice even louder. "Everyone, meet my charity case wife, Jasmine, the woman who thinks her deadbeat dad left her a fortune. She flew all the way to Seoul chasing a fairy tale." Amanda cackled. "David, stop. You're terrible. I'm honest. She's delusional. You're hurting me." Jasmine's voice cracked. David sneered. "Good." And that's when Minho arrived. He moved through the crowd like water, smooth, inevitable, unstoppable. He stopped directly in front of David. "Is there a problem?" His voice was soft, controlled, lethal. David turned, annoyed. "Who the hell are?" He stopped, because the entire ballroom had gone silent. Someone whispered in Korean, "That's King Minho." David's face drained of color. Minho ignored him. His eyes were on Jasmine. "Are you all right, miss?" "Carter." Her voice shook. "Jasmine Carter." "Miss Carter." Minho's gaze finally shifted to David. "You were saying something about charity cases." David stammered. "She's my wife. This is between us." "Not anymore." Minho gestured. 2 security guards appeared instantly. "Escort this man out. He's no longer welcome at any Kang Foundation event. Ever. You can't." "I just did." The guards moved toward David. He backed up, face red. "This is bullshit. Jasmine, you set this up. You." "Sir, please come with us." The guard's voice was polite. His grip on David's arm was not. David was escorted out, shouting threats, Amanda following in mortified silence. The ballroom resumed its hum of conversation. Minho turned back to Jasmine. She was shaking. "I apologize for that scene," he said quietly. "You shouldn't have been subjected to it. It's not your fault." "Perhaps. But I regret you experienced it in my family's event." He paused. "May I buy you a drink? Somewhere quieter?" She should have said no. Should have walked away from this dangerous, beautiful man who just dismantled her husband in 30 seconds. Instead, she whispered, "Yes." And Kang Minho smiled. "Just slightly. Follow me." The VIP lounge was on the hotel's top floor. Glass walls overlooking Seoul's skyline. Private, quiet. Minho ordered 2 drinks, whiskey for him, wine for her, and they sat in leather chairs that probably cost more than her car. He studied her, calm, assessing. That man is your husband." She nodded. "For how long? 6 years? You're planning to leave him?" "I'm planning to survive him." Minho's expression didn't change, but something flickered in his eyes. "Respect." "What brings you to Seoul, Miss Carter?" She considered lying. Then decided truth was simpler, maybe safer. "My father passed away 6 months ago. I came to settle his estate. I'm sorry for your loss." "What was his name?" "Thomas Ashford." The room temperature dropped. Minho set his glass down slowly. "Thomas Ashford, the tech founder." "Yes." "You're his daughter." "I am." Minho leaned back, reprocessed everything. Thomas Ashford, 35 billion at time of death, patents worth billions more. Real estate holdings across 3 continents. This woman, this quiet, mocked woman, was potentially one of the wealthiest individuals in Asia. And she had no idea. "How much did he leave you?" She looked down. "I don't know the full amount yet. The lawyers are still calculating. They said it's significant. Significant. Significant." Minho almost laughed. The door opened. Director Yoon entered, whispered in Korean, "Sir, I've confirmed." Thomas Ashford's estate, $20.03 billion USD. Seoul heir, Jasmine Ashford Carter. Documents are in probate. She hasn't officially claimed it yet. Minho's face remained neutral. He responded in Korean, "Find out everything about her husband." Everything. Nodded, left. Nodded, left. Minho switched back to English. "Miss Carter, I need to be direct with you. Do you know the full extent of your father's estate?" The lawyer said it's complicated. Business assets, properties. I have meetings scheduled this week. I'm going to tell you something your lawyer should have made clear. You're about to become one of the wealthiest women in Asia. You're also about to become a target. Rival companies, opportunists, criminals. They'll all come for you. Her eyes widened. "I don't understand. Your husband, does he know? He thinks my father left me almost nothing. That's what I thought too until recently." "Good. Keep it that way. Until you have proper security, proper legal representation, don't tell anyone, especially not him. Why are you helping me?" Minho considered his answer carefully. "Because I watched you stand there while that man tried to destroy you in front of 200 people, and you didn't break. You didn't beg. You didn't make a scene. That kind of strength is rare. And in my world, I protect rare things." She almost smiled. "You're not what I expected. What did you expect? Someone colder. I am cold, Miss Carter, but I'm fair, and you deserve better than what happened tonight." She met his gaze. "Thank you. You don't need to thank me, but you do need to accept my help, at least until you're properly protected." "Why would you do that?" "Because your father's estate includes significant holdings in Korea, which means you'll be operating in my city. And in my city, I have a reputation to maintain. Allowing harm to come to you would be, poor business." It wasn't the whole truth. The whole truth was that Minho had spent 15 minutes watching her before David arrived, had noticed the way she moved, careful, graceful, like she'd learned to take up as little space as possible, had noticed the intelligence in her eyes, the quiet beauty she seemed unaware of. Had noticed for the first time in years something other than cold calculation in his own chest. Interest. He offered her his card. "If you need anything while you're in Seoul, security, legal advice, or just someone to talk to, call me." She took the card, studied it. "Kang-Minho, Chairman and CEO, Kang Luxury Group, private line. I'll keep it," she said quietly. "Good." They talked for another hour. About Seoul, about her design work. He was genuinely impressed by her portfolio, about nothing and everything. And when she finally left, returning to her modest hotel room, Minho sat alone in the VIP lounge and made a decision. This woman, this mocked, underestimated, powerful woman, was going to need protection, and he was going to provide it, not because of the money, because of her. The attack came at 2 a.m. Jasmine was asleep in her hotel room, mid-tier accommodation, nothing fancy, when she heard the door handle rattle. She woke instantly, heart pounding. The handle turned. Someone was trying to get in. She grabbed her phone, dialed hotel security. "There's someone trying to break into my room. 4th floor, room 412. Ma'am, we'll send someone immediately." She shoved a chair under the door handle, backed into the corner, waited. 5 minutes later, security arrived. Checked the hallway. No one. "Must have been a drunk guest trying the wrong room," the security guard said. But Jasmine knew better. The next morning, she received a text from an unknown number. "We know about Ashford's money. Cooperate or disappear." Her hands shook. She called Minho. He answered on the first ring. "Miss Carter, someone tried to break into my room last night." "Okay. I just got a threatening text. I don't know what to do." "Where are you now?" "My hotel." "I'm scared. Pack your things. I'm sending a car. You're not staying there?" "I can't just—" "Yes, you can. I'll explain when you're safe." 20 minutes later, Captain Seo arrived with 2 security personnel. They escorted Jasmine and her single suitcase to a black SUV with tinted windows. They drove through Seoul, not to a hotel, to a private penthouse in Gangnam, top floor. Luxury beyond anything Jasmine had imagined. Floor-to-ceiling windows, marble floors, modern furniture that looked like art. Minho was waiting. "You'll stay here. 24-hour security. No one gets in without biometric clearance. I can't accept this. I don't even know you. You don't have a choice." His voice was firm, but not unkind. Whoever sent those threats has access to your hotel records, your phone number, your movements. Until we identify them, you're vulnerable. But why would someone? Because word is getting out about your inheritance, and $20 billion makes you a target. Director Yun entered, tablet in hand. Sir, we have preliminary intel. Minho glanced at Jasmine. May I? She nodded. Yun spoke. David Carter has been in contact with a known corporate espionage group for 3 weeks. He's been feeding them information about Mrs. Carter's movements. He's also filed paperwork in California attempting to claim spousal rights to the inheritance. Jasmine felt sick. He's trying to steal it. Yes, Minho said, which is why you're staying here, and why we're going to deal with him. What does that mean? It means your husband is about to learn what happens when you threaten someone under my protection. The next 3 days were a whirlwind. Jasmine met with lawyers, the best inheritance attorneys in Asia, provided by Minho. She met with accountants, estate managers. The full picture emerged. $20.03 billion liquid assets, real estate, patents, stock holdings in dozens of companies. Her father had built an empire and left it all to her. Why? She asked the lawyer. He didn't know me. He knew you existed. That was enough. His will states, I failed her as a father. I won't fail her in death. Give her everything. Let her build the life I denied her. Jasmine cried. Minho sat in on the meetings, translated complex Korean legal terms, advised on strategy, protected her from predatory offers and suspicious business partners. They spent hours together. She learned he was more than the cold Mafia king. He had a dry sense of humor. He remembered how she took her coffee. He asked about her design work and actually listened. He learned she was stronger than she knew, intelligent, talented. Resilient in ways that broke his heart because he knew what it took to build that kind of resilience. On day 4, David called. Jasmine's phone rang. She looked at the screen. Minho nodded. She answered. Put it on speaker. Jasmine, baby, I'm so sorry about the gala. I was drunk. I didn't mean it. Come back to LA. We can work this out. Her voice was steady. David, I want a divorce. Silence. Then rage. You ungrateful bitch. You think you can just leave me after everything I've done for you? I made you, and now you got a little money and you think you're too good for me? I'll take everything. I'll destroy you. Minho took the phone. Mr. Carter, this is King Minho. Your wife is under my protection. Any further contact will be considered harassment and dealt with accordingly. David's voice changed. Fear. Who the hell do you think you are? I think I'm the man who just ended your marriage, your threats, and your future. Have a good day. He hung up. Jasmine stared at him. You just made an enemy. Minho's smile was cold. He was already my enemy. He just didn't know it yet. Late that night, Jasmine couldn't sleep. Too much in her head, too many changes, too much fear and hope tangled together. She wandered through the penthouse, found Minho in his study, reading reports, drinking whiskey. He looked up. Can't sleep. Too much to process. He poured a second glass, handed it to her. She sat across from him. They drank in comfortable silence. Then Minho asked quietly, Tell me about your father. What do you remember? She looked into her glass. One memory. I was 3. He was holding me, singing something. I don't remember the song, just the feeling, safe, warm, and then he was gone. My mother said he left because he didn't want us, that he was a coward, but he wasn't. No, he spent 20 years looking for me. Hired investigators, reached out to my mother. She never told me. She was angry, hurt. She kept us apart, and he died before we could meet. Her voice broke. Your father, Thomas Ashford, wishes to reconnect. She'd thrown it away, thought it was a scam. Her mother had told her for years that her father wanted nothing to do with her. The judge looked at Jasmine. Mrs. Carter, did you receive contact from Thomas Ashford before his death? She stood, voice shaking. Yes, Your Honor. I received a letter, but I thought it was fake. I didn't know my father was alive. My mother told me he'd abandoned us. But you were contacted, and you chose not to respond. I didn't know. I thought it was a scam. David's lawyer pounced. Your Honor, Mrs. Carter admits she received contact and ignored it. This supports our claim of willful concealment. Ms. Park objected, but the damage was done. The judge called a recess. In the private conference room, Jasmine was shaking. I didn't know. I swear. Minho pulled her close. I believe you. Director Yun entered with a file. Sir, we found something in Thomas Ashford's will. There's a clause. He handed the file to Minho. Minho read it. His jaw tightened. "What is it?" Jasmine asked. Minho showed her. "Clause 7B. If Jasmine shows no interest in reconciliation before my death, the inheritance will be held in trust until she demonstrates genuine intent to honor the Ashford legacy through charitable work or business development. Final discretion rests with the trustee." Jasmine's blood ran cold. So David can argue I manipulated the trustee. He's going to try back in court. David took the stand. He lied with a straight face. Jasmine knew about the money for months. For months, she planned this. She came to Seoul, attended that charity gala to manipulate the trustee. She even seduced Kang Minho the same night to secure protection. To use his power, she's a con artist. Jasmine shot to her feet. "That's a lie." The judge banged his gavel. "Mrs. Carter, sit down. He's lying. I came to Seoul to learn about my father. I didn't know about the money until after I arrived." David's lawyer smiled. "Then why did you immediately attach yourself to Mr. Kang, one of Korea's most powerful men?" "I didn't attach myself to anyone. He helped me when I was threatened." Convenient. Minho stood. "Your Honor, may I approach the bench?" The judge nodded. Minho walked forward, whispered something, handed over a document. The judge's eyes widened. "Mr. Kang, are you certain?" "Absolutely." The judge read the document, then looked at David with disgust. "New evidence has been submitted." "Mr. Carter, you claim your wife concealed assets and manipulated her way into the trustee's favor. But according to bank records and communications logs, you've been in contact with a Chinese corporate espionage group for 6 weeks. You sold information about your wife's location, her meetings, her inheritance status. You also filed this injunction within 48 hours of learning about the inheritance amount." David's face went purple. "That's not. Furthermore," the judge continued, "you attempted to fraudulently claim spousal rights to an inheritance that was legally separated from marital assets. This court finds your claims to be not only baseless but criminal. Injunction denied. I'm referring your case to the prosecutor's office for investigation of fraud, conspiracy, and extortion." David exploded. "This is a setup. Kang Minho bought you off. He's using her for her money." Security moved forward. "Get him out of my courtroom." David was dragged out, screaming threats. The judge looked at Jasmine. "Mrs. Carter, your inheritance is released from probate. Full claim approved. You're free to manage your estate as you see fit. And I suggest you get a restraining order against your soon-to-be ex-husband." Jasmine couldn't speak. Minho took her hand. "It's over." Outside the courthouse, reporters were everywhere. Minho's security formed a wall. Jasmine turned to Minho. "How did you know about David's espionage contacts?" His smile was sharp. "I've had people watching him since the gala. He was sloppy, greedy, predictable. You could have told me. You needed to see it for yourself. To know without doubt that leaving him isn't weakness. It's survival." She kissed him, right there in front of cameras, in front of Seoul. Flashes exploded. Tomorrow, every newspaper in Asia would run the photo. The $20 billionaire is kissing the Phantom King. But in that moment, Jasmine didn't care. She was free. 1 week later, Jasmine officially filed for divorce. With David's fraud exposed, the process was fast-tracked. No contest. No settlement. She claimed her full inheritance, $20.03 billion. Minho's legal and financial team helped her structure everything. Trusts, foundations, asset protection, investment portfolios. One evening, Minho asked her, "What do you want to do with all this?" She thought, "My father built technology. He connected people. I want to build homes. Design spaces that make people feel safe, beautiful, worthy." Minho smiled. "Then that's what you'll do." But David wasn't finished. Desperate, humiliated, broke. He made a deal with a Chinese triad faction that had been trying to infiltrate Korean markets for years. They offered him $10 million to sabotage Jasmine's inheritance, create legal chaos, freeze accounts internationally, destabilize her holdings. David agreed. The triads had their own agenda, use Jasmine's assets to launder money and gain a foothold in Korea. Minho's intelligence network caught wind of the plot. Director Yoon briefed him. They're planning to hit her accounts simultaneously across 5 countries. Legal injunctions, false claims, frozen assets. It'll take months to untangle. By then, they'll have leveraged her holdings for illegal operations. Minho's voice was ice. Not if we move first. He proposed something bold to Jasmine. We announce a formal business partnership. Kang-Ashford Holdings, Kang-Ashford Holdings. 4. We combine resources. My security infrastructure protects your assets. Your capital invests in my legitimate expansion. This makes you a target too. I've been a target since I was born. But together, we're untouchable. She studied him. This is more than business. Yes. It's also a merger of our lives. If you'll have me, she smiled. Are you proposing? Not yet, but I will. They held a press conference, announced Kang-Ashford Holdings. The business world reacted with shock. But it sent a clear message to the triads. Touch her, you touch Kang Minho. No one was that stupid, except David. The triads had 72 hours before the partnership was legally finalized. They accelerated their plan, hired mercenaries, planned a raid on the Kang compound, kidnapped Jasmine, force her to sign over assets under duress. But Minho had anticipated this. Captain SEO tripled security, set traps, waited. That night Minho told Jasmine, "They're coming. Tonight. When they do, we end this. What if something happens to you? It won't. But if it does," he cupped her face, "then everything I have goes to you. But I don't intend to die, Jasmine. I intend to marry you, to build a life with you, to give you everything you deserve." She kissed him. "Come back to me? Always." At 3 a.m., the alarms blared. 12 armed men breached the compound. The war began. The attack was surgical, professional. 12 mercenaries, triad trained, armed with military-grade weapons. But the Kang compound wasn't just a house. It was a fortress. Captain SEO's team engaged immediately. Gunfire echoed through the gardens. Tactical lights swept the darkness. Minho fought alongside his men. He wasn't just a CEO. He'd been trained since childhood. Combat, strategy, survival. A mercenary came at him from the side. Minho disarmed him in 3 moves. Brutal, efficient. The man dropped. Another attacker fired. Minho rolled behind a stone pillar. Return fire. Headshot. Down. Captain SEO's voice crackled through the comms. East perimeter secured. 4 hostiles down. Copy. West side holding. Status on Miss Carter. Safe room. Locked down. But in the safe room, Jasmine was watching everything on security feeds. Her birthstone, he slipped it on her finger. "You're mine now, officially. I was always yours. You just took a while to figure it out." They kissed, and in that moment, surrounded by medics and security personnel and the aftermath of war, they found peace. 3 days later. Audit sentencing made international news. The triad operation was front-page headlines. And in a quiet ceremony at the Kang family estate, witnessed by grandmother Kang Suk-ya, director Yoon, Captain Seo, and a handful of trusted family, Kang Minho and Jasmine Ashford Carter became husband and wife. Not a business merger, a union, a dynasty. 6 months later, Seoul. Kang-Ashford Holdings headquarters, a glass tower in Gangnam, brand new, state-of-the-art. Minho had transitioned his empire fully legitimate. No more underground operations. No more gray market deals. Real estate, tech investments, luxury hospitality, clean money, clean legacy. Jasmine launched Ashford Design Group, an architecture firm dedicated to creating affordable, beautiful housing. Her first project, a residential community in Busan for low-income families. Sustainable, elegant, designed with dignity. She named it Thomas Ashford Memorial Village. Her father's legacy, technology that connected people. Her legacy, spaces that sheltered them. They split their time between Seoul and Los Angeles. Jasmine reclaimed her freedom, her identity, her life. They built a home in Seoul, designed by Jasmine, secured by Minho. Traditional Korean architecture blended with modern comfort. Gardens, privacy, peace. Grandmother Kang Suk-ya visited often.